You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking. It's always looking for and finding the good. That's why you tune in. Consciously and conscientiously, you are using your most valuable asset, your time, to tune into the Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore. And you tuned in for one reason and one reason only. It's the best reason in the whole world, because you care the most in the entire world about you. YOU, which is great, by the way, because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love. And you are in for such a wonderful treat today, because we're going to go deep into our discussion of joy, happiness, peace, and love, enlightenment, tantra, manifesting with a remarkable being. His name is Jafree, but we'll get there in just a few minutes. So right now, I just want to thank you for doing what you do, which is to recommend to your family and friends, so that right now we have over 386,000 people around the world listening. By the time we bring on Jafree, we'll have over 400,000. And all we do is ask you to share this with 5 people. That's it, just 5. You want to share with 50 or 100, which some of our people do, great. But share it with at least 5 so we can touch millions of people around the planet with this elevating energy, and therefore really cause a shift, a positive shift in the energy of the planet. Now, you know, the reason you tuned in is because we discuss the 3 fundamentals of life on this show. And when you use these 3 fundamentals, you will become happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? Now, these 3 fundamentals, number 1 is life. Your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, number 2 happens. In this case, a good number 2. You go MAD. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the 3rd fundamental is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple example, this show is carried over the internet all around the world. If you ask anybody, what does www stand for? Invariably they'll say it has to do with the internet. Now, factually speaking, they're correct. However, in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, www stands for what a wonderful world. And of course, in just listening to the opening bars of that fabulous song, What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong Satchmo, which has gone around the world and touched not just tens of millions or hundreds of millions, but billions of people around the planet. When you hear the opening bars of What a Wonderful World, what do you do right away? You can't help it. You smile. Now, smile is one of the most important words you could ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because smile stands for seeing miracles in life every day. That's right, seeing miracles in life every day. Now, I'll just tell you a quick story. I recently spoke to a group. We had 1,127 people in the audience, and I'm telling the story about Barry Shore and about smile, seeing miracles. And some people raising their hands say, "Hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours, I haven't seen any miracles." And I asked them, "Can you hear? Are you here? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. Do you have water to drink? Do you have food to eat? Do you have a place to sleep? Do you have family or friends?" Every single one of those is a miracle. A miracle. What's the proof? Simple as proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching or listening, you didn't. And therefore, you have an obligation to live life to the full. Now, let me tell you a quick story. It's about me. Imagine, if you can, I'm standing up in the morning, completely healthy and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. And that evening, I'm in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed by my neck down. It's called being a quadriplegic. Now, this happened not because of an automobile accident, not a spinal injury. A rare disease took over my body and caused me to be completely paralyzed. I could only communicate by blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital. I was in a hospital bed in my own home for 2 years. I couldn't move. I was 4 years in a wheelchair. I had braces on both my legs, my hips to my ankles for years, and that was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I'm a triped, not a biped. I can't walk up a stair by myself. I can't walk up a curb by myself. I help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. However, you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, all because of one word. What's the word? Smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. Now, I got to tell you, though, my 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago and she says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile, S-M-I-E-L? I thought about it. Smile sounds the same. Why not? I asked her how come. She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. And out of the mouth of an 8-year-old, what was she doing? She was creating the kind of world she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a fabulous acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. That's right. We're talking about rethinking, and you're going to hear a lot about this from wonderful Jafree. And the ability for you to do this is going to enable you to shift your perspective. Now, I've been working with people for more than 4.5 decades, and I can tell you, 97.2% of all the people I work with drop the F in shift, and the other stuff happens. So you're going to be effing careful with your Fs. And when you shift your perspective just a little bit, you'll be able to internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever learn. And they are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond to any given situation will help determine your path in life and your trajectory. Now, before we bring on Jafree, I want to tell everybody, I want to warn him also in advance. I do use a lot of 4-letter words, and I even use the 4-letter FU word. And I do it because of the shock value, and it's fun. Now, of course, the 4-letter words that we use, because we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, are love, life, hope, free, play, pray, swim, gift. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun, yes. F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, you have a twinkle in your eye, a smile on your face. You want to point your finger at your family and friends, say, F you, everybody. Say, what are you talking about? Where'd you get that? Add right away, capital N, capital N. Say, well, listen to Barry Shore and the joy of living. And he wants to teach the world to F you, and it will gain their attention. Then you can talk to them about all the wonderful things that you're learning today about enlightenment, about tantra, about manifesting, meditation, et cetera, et cetera. So before we bring on, though, Jafree, I want to urge everybody to do something that's going to be helpful to you. It will make you happier, healthier, and wealthier. I'd like you to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. To harmonize and nurture kindness. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Therefore, be kind always. KIND is a fabulous acronym. It stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. I can't think of anyone that I'd like to share with you at the moment that inspires noble deeds more than wonderful Jafree Ozwald. Jafree, say hello to 392,922 people around the world.
Wow. What an introduction. Thank you so much.
Well, we're so happy and honored that you're here with us today. And I'll share with you, WOW is a fabulous acronym that stands for Words of Wisdom.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to share with us today. So if you're watching, you get an extra benefit because you're able to see Jafree. And he's manifesting a beautiful visage. It's really very pleasant. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. And we're so honored. And if you're not, you'll be listening to what he has to say. So if I started telling people about all the things that have happened for you over the intervening years of your 50 plus years on this planet, it would take the rest of the show. I'm just going to hit a couple of highlights. One is that it was you were born and raised in Colorado, which is a wonderful place to be born and raised. And number 2 is that it was 1995, according to what you shared with me earlier, when you had your first, what we'll call epiphany, awakening, enlightening, and such like that. And 1995 is what? That's 29 years from before today. Mm-hmm. So you were plus minus in your early 20s. So let's just jump right in and tell us a little bit about your background growing up in Colorado, what city and town, et cetera, and what even brought you to a point where you could have a enlightening epiphany.
Good question. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I spent most of my years in Denver. It was, yeah, a very powerful experience just being amongst all the Coloradans who are so outdoorsy and fun and exuberant and positive. And it was a beautiful place to grow up. Gorgeous, especially September is like one of the most beautiful times to go there. The trees are so amazing. And yeah, I mean, I'd have to say that, I was a very outdoorsy guy. I played football and baseball and just about every sport through high school. And I don't know, there was something missing, I guess, I don't know what I saw and heard in people's, their words and in their ways of being. I was like, everybody's missing something. Like, what is that? What are we all missing? This is like, and I started to get really frustrated around probably 16 years old. And I was just extremely, extremely bored with every conversation, with every class, with everything was just boring. And I was like, there has to be something deeper to life. I mean, what am I missing? And I started to turn towards God or the universe or higher self or whatever. And I said, please, like, help me to find a different way to listen to people. And all of a sudden, I started listening as if God was talking to me through people. And so I'd ask them questions in my mind, and then all of a sudden they would answer back this reply of wow, that was the answer to my question, but on a very, very deep level. And so I started to play with this and test it again and again. I'm like, oh my gosh, like something is actually listening through my being and through their being. And there's a deeper conversation happening than just this superficial, what did you have for lunch and where did you go, da, da, da. I was so bored with the superficial, right? And so I was just practicing listening from a much like a third party was there. And so I wasn't really me listening. It was like this higher me was listening. It was tuning into like, what is my soul most needing to know, to grow and evolve, and what's my life mission? And so I just started to ask like little questions that had like one answer. And then all of a sudden they would say it for some odd reason. Weirdly enough, there's just crazy synchronicities. And I really don't believe in coincidences ever. Like nothing is by coincidence. Nothing. There's a huge divine plan underneath everything. And it's just, I started to pay more and more attention to that. And then, I went through college, and then my dad had a really deep depression and ended up killing himself when I was 23.
Excuse me, wait a minute. That's not just da 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 da. That's a big something.
That's a huge shift. And it took me maybe 10 years to really find complete peace and understanding of what happened, and why he did that. But in the 17 months after he killed himself, I went on a very, very deep search. And I was like, why? Why did this happen to me? What, to me, not for me. And it ended up pushing me so deep inside myself that I didn't want to do anything but just meditate, and learn how to meditate was the only thing that really inspired me. So I just kept focusing on what is meditation, how to meditate, how to quiet the mind chatter, how to bring your mind to stillness, how to soften the body, how to relax into your body deeper. And I just did this for 17 months.
Okay, so let me put you on pause, because there's already a lot to begin to unpack here. I want to touch on 3 particular issues, and I find them to be really powerful. And one is that you said you started asking God, the universe, whatever, to help you. You were listening to conversations and they were meaningless. And then you said you asked for help.
Mm-hmm.
And then you used the word listen. So I love words, as we talked about acronyms before. Ask to us in my world and the people listening to us, Ask, ASK, stands for always seek kindness. Always seek kindness. So that's what really ask is about. Now, the word listen is a fantastic word because that's what you were using to tune into. Listen is, of course, spelled Listen. And we like to rearrange letters and make other words. So we can have 3 words in that one word that you might like this, Jafree. Listen, you can use rearrange letters to start with the word enlist. We enlist the quiet mind, move into the silent mind, because the same letters that spell listen spell silent. And then we can truly listen. Listen stands for locating insightful, sustainable, transformative energy now. You love it?
Beautiful. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, because you are the master, and we're going to go deeper into this. Your father needed to leave this world in a difficult way. How did you even begin to come to meditation as a way to deal with it? I could hear people would go do alcohol, drugs, all kinds of things. You found a path in meditation. Was it somebody that you knew? Was it something that you found? How did it come to you to use something so positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant as meditation to deal with this?
Yeah, so he installed in me a lot of spiritual programming, throughout my childhood. And he read a lot of spiritual books. Deepak Chopra was one of his mentors, Wayne Dyer. He got me turned on to these self-help gurus at quite a young age. And so I was already curious. I didn't really know what meditation was or how to meditate, or, I just thought it was just like chanting a mantra and then you get, really high off that. So I had no idea that it was about truly dissolving the ego and discovering oneself as divinity itself. And so what happened was, he gave me this book when I was probably, 16. He's creative visualization. So I started to dive into this really basic, simple understanding of what manifesting is and how that relates to spirituality. And so at that age, I was just playing with it. I didn't know the serious game that it's kind of become in the world today about it, but it was just a playful thing that I explored. And then of course I started to want to create a deeper relationship with God, because once you have that deeper relationship, then you feel the sense of comfort and ease wherever you go. You know that you can manifest anything you want at any time, and it's just like it's a joyride. Like life is a natural, effortless joyride from beginning to end when you have that close relationship with divinity. And so this is all I wanted, but there was so much pain, to deal with, and all the karma and all the baggage and, fighting with people. And it was just like, how to reconcile this. And so I started asking for guidance and for my inner guidance to get more clear and louder. And so I could listen to the voices, the different voices that were in my head, the voices that were going to lead me to more pain and the voices that were going to lead me to more peace. And so
it's fascinating that you said that your father actually provided you with the mechanism, books and ways.
Meditations, yeah.
Meditation. And yet he, for whatever reason, couldn't deal with life.
Yeah. Yeah. So he wasn't really applying.
That must have been a very big conflict for you.
Yeah. And this is a way that I wanted to go deeper to connect with my father, because I knew that he was so close to this path and so was his mother. And so I was like, okay, this will bring me closer to him. And so I opened up to that path as a way of kind of respecting him and honoring what he taught, and also just knowing how powerful it was from my own experience, and just being thankful that he introduced me to the first steps, So
I want to talk about, you use the word joy as the balance or the opposite of pain. And one of our great acronyms for, because the podcast is called The Joy of Living. Joy is a wonderful acronym that stands for Journey of You. That's what joy is. Now, I also will tell you, we're very happy to say that we have sponsors that love our show, and we vet them, and we wouldn't urge anybody to use them unless we think they're good for you. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with more Jafree on the other side of this. Don't go away, because this is amazing. Be right back.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card, and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up? Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. We found good in abundance. Our cup runneth over with good. His name is Jafree Ozwald, O-Z-W-A-L-D, or O-Z-W-A-L-D, and we're discussing this remarkable journey that he's been on since he was young. And part of it had to do with the fact that his father committed suicide, which enabled Jafree to confront the two most powerful aspects of humanity, joy and pain. And he's trying to find and go in the path of joy, and finding that meditation is the way to not just get out of pain, but to transcend it and transcend the ego. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and you might even like the acronym of EGO, EGO, meaning excluding God's omnipresence.
Wait a minute, I love this, because I'm going to tell you another one that we've been using for years. Experiencing God's omnipresence. That is wonderful. Now, I want to share with you.
The ego excludes it. See, the ego is not merged with God. The ego thinks it's separate from God. And that's why it's the ego, because we don't believe that we're connected. And so we go into this ego game. So, yeah.
So I'll tell you something interesting that you might. So they're saying ego experiencing God's omniscience or omnipresence, right?
Sure.
And one of the things that I learned from a dear friend of mine, actually it wasn't dear, he was a dear acquaintance, who was involved with, what do they call the 12-step program. He was an alcoholic. And he learned in the Alcoholics Anonymous program that ego stands for edging God out.
Yeah. That's a good one.
And I can see that the two pieces come together. This is wonderful, Jafree. I mean, I'm loving it, because if you edge God out, you'll never get to experience God's omnipresence. This is beautiful. Thank you. So you're now deep in meditation. You're manifesting. How does this come in any way to enlightenment? I mean, it's very nice. A lot of people meditate, right? But very few people attain enlightenment.
Yeah, I mean, I had a glimpse. We'll call it a glimpse of enlightenment. It was a samadhi experience. It started off as a satori, which is sort of like you throw a match on the fire, and the fire kind of explodes into this amazing, beautiful, kind of firework. But then to kind of keep the fire going is sort of what a samadhi is, and that takes the surrender and the melting of the ego. And so I was so enamored, and I was in India at the time, so I was in a completely different environment, different paradigm. And I had sat with this guru, with this master named Papaji, and he had awakened many people as well. And I thought, this guy, who is he? He's kind of angry. He's kind of like pushy. He was intense. And it was crazy. After I walked out of one of his satsangs, everything was completely different. I was all like on an LSD trip. I was seeing auras, I was hearing voices, I could communicate telepathically with animals, I was able to see through people's facades. There was no barriers.
However, you were not using any kind of psychedelics.
No, this was just pure meditation, and just his energy from doing all the years of meditation and working with Ramana Maharishi's self-inquiry work. He was able to pierce through the veil of the ego and
I'm
dive
sorry,
deep.
and his name again is
Papaji, or
Papa G.
yeah. So
Now,
he's
by the way, I want to make a pause here. You don't have to write anything down. Everything that you want to know about Jafree and the show, just go to my website, barryshore.com, BARRYSHORE. Go to barryshore.com. It's all in the notes. Just lean in and experience what we're discussing here today, because this is wonderful. So you can come back to it and listen again and go to the show notes and find out all the things that are available through Jafree. But right now, what I want you to do is just feel the experience. I'd like you to feel what Jafree had when he walked out of Papa G's lectures. He couldn't take it anymore, and now he's tripping, but tripping on life, not on psychedelics.
Right. Yeah, and what happened on my inner world was that there was no me anymore that had any commentary, any judgments. It was just a nothingness that was seeing through my body, through my mind, listening. There was nobody there. It basically annihilated my ego. And I remember hearing this boom, this like an atomic bomb went off inside my being and went, and I was just like, whoa, what was that? What happened? And I just was like, I'm not here. Like, where am I? I mean, I'm in my body, but there's nobody home. And so it's just like this annihilation of the ego happened in a split second. And from that space, there was just pure love. There's pure seeing. There was just God force all around me. It was like I could see the energy in everything. And there was this golden light that was emanating from everything. And then there was no real, I mean, I had questions, of course, like what's happening to me, but I could receive an answer immediately. That was the crazy thing. It was an instant recognition, instant answers. The universe was constantly talking to me and through everything around me. There was no separation anymore because the ego wasn't running the show. The ego wasn't, saying that I'm separate, I'm different, I'm unique, I'm special, I'm whatever. It's just saying that I don't even exist. The ego was like, I'm not even real. I'm just an illusion, or I was an illusion, and now I'm not here anymore. So when that happened, it was a very long time to integrate that, and I kept, surrendering back into it for months. And going back into meditation and just listening to other people, like what they were saying, and I could not relate to anybody. It was like everybody was kind of down on earth, and I was like in this other stratosphere and trying to function. Like, how am I going to make money and survive as a 25-year-old in the world? Because I can't even. There's no me to function. And then I asked the universe for guidance on that, and it pointed me to work for a psychic hotline for a year and a half, and then I started my own business with enlightenedbeings.com, started giving sessions, started teaching people how to manifest, and I started manifesting things.
I'm sorry, just to unpack a few things here. Like, I want to, so you, because we're doing so many wonderful things all at once.
Yeah.
So here you are in Colorado, your father kills himself. You're now dealing with that and in meditation. How did you get to India? Did you just say, you open up a travel brochure and say, I think I'm going to go to India? No, you're involved in meditation. So almost sort of a natural home, as it were, would be to go someplace or to some buddy, some guru in India. So how is it that you found that particular place that you went to, and how long were you there for, and now that you're, let's say, going to open up your own business. But that's not, is that happening in India?
So let me backtrack a little bit. I was actually in Norway when my dad committed suicide, and it's crazy to think this, but that night that he killed himself, and I didn't even know that he was going through anything really challenging. That night that he killed himself, I went out on the town with some friends, and I was talking to some guy in some club, some bar, and he wanted to kill himself that night. That night, he's like, this girl doesn't like me. And so I followed him from bar to bar till like 4 a.m, okay, trying to get him to not kill himself that night. And then when I got home, and I've never done this before, I've never tried to talk anybody out of suicide. And then when I got home, I got the phone call like an hour later that my dad had done this. So it was very synchronistic. And then the next day on the radio in Norway, I heard my dad's favorite 3 songs played in a row. So I was like, I knew somehow, I mean, what are the chances like of these songs, right, being played? And it was just like, there was so many, I don't know, it was so many synchronicities and just connections and conversations that just pointed me back to this deeper path within ourselves, a spiritual connection, you know, as the way to find your home inside yourself. And yeah, so then I went back with my wife at the time, and then we ended up moving to Hawaii. And then after a year in Hawaii, she said, hey, I want to go back to Norway. Let's stop at India on the way.
Well, wait a minute. Of course, if you're in Hawaii and you're going to go back to Norway, and certainly let's stop. And well, it is actually en route. So I can hear that. So you're going from Hawaii and you're going to continue west, and you're going to go and stop in India. So so your wife was the one who was the initiator of the process.
She knew I was into meditation, and I was studying this path of levitation as well, as how to enlighten yourself physically so you can lift your body off the ground, which not many people thought was possible, you know, at the time. And I wanted to prove them wrong. And so I was like, okay, let's go meet some people in India because I know this is real. And
so have you actually levitated?
It wasn't in my path, my karma, my dharma to do that. It was more about dissolving the ego. It was a lightening of, that was more of what I was here to do.
Okay, and, so you're now moving from Hawaii to India. And where in India and what place?
Well, we started out in Lucknow, which was where Papaji was at. And there was a room of about 300 people just stuffed in there. You know, you could barely have room to cross your legs and sit in a relaxed place. It was very stuffy and hot. And luckily the floor was cold. The tiles were cold, you know, to keep you from going crazy. But it was that kind of atmosphere of everybody's intense, you know, waiting for him to come and waiting for him to sit down and bless you and give you the, you know, people were kissing his feet and all this. And I thought it was crazy. I'm like, what is going on? Why are the people kissing his feet and all this stuff? And I just didn't really buy into it. But I took a picture of him, which was not recommended. And I kind of broke the rules. And he gave me this look like, what did you just do? And it sent like this fire through my whole being. It was like, you know, it was like, whoa, I did something really bad. And then, then the rest of the satsang happened, and then he left. And after he left, I got up and walked out. And that's when the satori happened. That's when the samadhi began, where there was no more me to claim, you know, who am I? And that's, you know, I changed my name, and everything changed on its own. I didn't really have I didn't really have much to go by. I was just like trusting life one breath at a time, and just like a leaf on a river.
How long did you stay in India?
I think we were there about 6 weeks. And then
you went back to Norway with your then wife.
Yep. We went back to Norway, and then I think within about 6 months later, I decided I needed to go back to India to meditate some more, and went to another meditation retreat where I had another samadhi awakening. Because what happened is when I went back to Norway in the city life and the busy and the stress of money and, you know, making money to pay the bills, it contracted my being so much that I felt like this samadhi was it was claustrophobic or something. It was like I couldn't breathe. And I was like, I need a space where I can connect with God on a very like relaxed level. There's not all this pressure, where people are meditating around me. My environment was people who were on a spiritual search. And so I went to a retreat and just started to meditate and going deeper into that experience again. And
now you're back in India, and how long are you in India now?
Yeah, I was in Bodh Gaya, I think another 6 weeks, and just had tons of fun, like giving, food to the children and, having them do fun little tasks of, writing out essays or poems, and then I'd give them a treat or money or something. I'd help them to, get their gifts going, and I just crazy things started happening to me. Like I was testing this whole samadhi experience that I was in, and I would ask like a cow from a good quarter mile away, to come and stand right in front of me. And I'd ask him, and, within 15 minutes or something, I'd turn around and there's the cow, breathing down my neck saying, well, what did you want? Did you want something? Right. And I thought, oh, that's weird, and that could be a coincidence. I still believe in coincidences then. So I was really testing it because I'm super scientific, my brain. And so I really wanted to know, if this was really real, if we really had this connection to God. And so I went up on this rooftop, and this really blew my mind. And I was like, okay, God, if you're real, I'm going to talk to these clouds. There's one puffy cloud that's just over here in the distance, kind of, away from the sun. And I said, if you're listening to me, God, take that cloud and turn it into a donut, and then move that donut into the middle of the sun. And I closed my eyes and I just waited. And then sure enough, like 10, 15 minutes go by, I open my eyes and I see the donut moving slowly into the middle of the sun. And have you ever seen a cloud in the form of a donut? Ever? Never. It never, ever, ever, ever occurs. So this to me was like significant proof that our thoughts create our reality, that there is a divine higher power that's listening always through us, to us, and we're connected to it, that we're not separate from it. And so this was and then I had another out-of-body experience. I imagined myself, close to the stars, and then I flew up out of my body, astral projected out of my body, sitting at a restaurant, and I was, 500 feet in the air, and it was a total trip. And so I started having wild experiences like this. It kind of freaked me out, and I didn't really know what happened.
By the way, let's be blunt, because we've got people listening from all over the world. You're still eating and drinking and moving your bowels and such. I mean, let's be blunt. Yeah, you had to still be physical. And how did you pay for this? I assume you had already some money saved up, so you were just using whatever money you had. So it wasn't as if you were begging, and you had to.
No.
Okay,
no, I had some savings to live off of. So yeah.
Okay, so that was good. Now, how does that translate into getting into or involved in Tantra, which I assume is Tantra yoga, right?
Well, Tantra came a lot later. I spent, I don't know, maybe 20 years on the path of manifesting and just teaching people how to manifest. I wrote a manifesting
let's stay
manual.
on the path of let's talk about manifesting again.
Yeah.
Because manifesting on the most simple level means to imagine something and it becomes tangible. Is that correct?
Yeah, your thoughts form into physical reality.
Good.
So
now you're on this path of manifesting, and you said for 20 years. So are you manifesting, making sure that you're able to eat and drink and have a place to sleep and things like that, as well as manifesting other things?
Yeah, I mean, you can manifest anything. If you want to meet your soulmate, if you want to manifest a new car, a house, a better body, you can manifest even more creativity, more inspiration. There's no limit. If you can dream it, you can achieve it, right?
This is wonderful, because one of the words we have is dream, and we're talking about doing remarkable experiential activities, manifestations. We use the M in dream for manifestations. So give us an example. Actually, we're going to do a quick break. Just to keep you on the edge of your seat, everybody. We'll be right back with more Jafree and manifestations right after this. Don't go away. Good day, everybody. I have some great, wonderful news for you. Everybody knows that fasting is healthy. Fasting? Healthy? That's right. However, it can be challenging. Not with Prolon. Prolon. Prolon is fasting with food. That's right. Fasting, and you get to eat food. It all starts with Prolon's 5-day program. You get snacks, soups, beverages, and it's all designed to activate your body's fasting state. It's like anything you've ever experienced. I must tell you, if I was going to start a nutrition program, Prolon is exactly what I would use. It's convenient. It's backed by Nobel-winning science, and it works. So right now, Prolon is offering the Joy of Living listeners 10% off their 5-day nutrition program. I urge everybody, go to prolonlife.com/Barry. That's PROLON life.com/Barry for this special offer. 10% off for listeners to the Joy of Living, because you like to live well, and using Prolon will help you live life well. So please go to prolonlife.com, PROLON life.com/Barry for the special offer. Do it now. You will thank me. I love it when you're healthy and happy and making a difference in the world. Best wishes. Bye now. Good day. Beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. Have we found good in abundance? His name is Jafree, Jafree. We've been talking about his spiritual path through Colorado, Norway, India, manifestation, meditation. We're going to be talking about Tantra in just a moment. And Jafree, I just want to tell you, I created an acronym for your name. You want to hear it?
Sure.
So Jafree. Joyful awareness facilitates remarkable expansive energy.
That's great.
You love it?
I love it. You're so fun, Barry.
Here you are manifesting. So tell us what it is that you're consciously manifesting that you wanted in your life that's going to help you and, by definition, other people.
Yeah, so I was coming from this very kind of lofty spiritual paradigm where I wasn't very grounded and rooted, and I needed a way to make money. And I, asked the universe to help me to make money. And it said, okay, I'm going to give you the 8 secrets basically to manifesting, and just write them down. And so I just started writing and writing and writing, and I kept writing for the next 20 years. I never stopped writing, really. It just kept coming. And what came out of these 8 secrets was what we call the Manifesting Manual. And it's a book you can get on Amazon. And it's also an ebook on our e-store that you can instantly download. And it's got everything that anybody would ever need to know about manifesting: how to get rid of your blocks, your saboteurs, how to really get clear on what it is you want to create. And there's just so much packed in this manual. And it was basically a download from this Satori Samadhi spiritual awakening I had in India. Okay, so it's it's written from that frequency and that vibration. So it's a very high frequency book. And you just can open it up, and it just makes you feel alive, because it's written from that space of pure ecstasy, really.
Do you hear that, everybody? It makes you feel alive, and it's pure ecstasy. So, Jafree, we have 8 tips for manifestation. Let's focus on 2 of them that you really like a lot, that you think are just really essential for somebody to know. Let's start with one of them.
So one of them is learning how to say yes. Okay. So starting your day with saying yes to everything in existence, including all the challenges that you have, as well as all the blessings. So, and this is also part of the path of Tantra, is just learning how to say yes to life, to yourself, to your, the difficulty, the manure that makes your sprouts come up out of the muck, and towards the sun. So we need this. It's like, for people to get in touch with their darkness, it helps them to move closer to the light. It makes the light even brighter and easier. It's more palpable. So it's learning how to say yes to everything. And that yes it's a yes that kind of resounds throughout the universe. It's like there's nothing that you don't say yes to. Even like the neighbor that you don't get along with, you just say yes, this is helping me to evolve and grow spiritually and learn how to love. So this is the first principle of yes. The second thing you can do is to jump up and down, physically jump up and down first thing in the morning before you get your cup of coffee or whatever, and just think about what you want to manifest as if it's already occurred. So if you won the lottery, or you found your soulmate, or you got the perfect body, or whatever you want, it's like you're like, yes, I did it. I'm jumping up and down with joy and just extreme happiness. And if you can't, physically leap out of the chair because of your legs, you can jump internally, just like as if you were flying off the ground. Yeah.
Right.
And just having that leap into the air of like, woohoo, kind of fake it till you make it kind of thing. And that gets the endorphins, the brain, the serotonin, everything starts to kick in to feel that it's real. Because when you can feel it, that it's real, then the universe doesn't really know the difference between imagination and reality, right? So if you imagine, you feel that this is real, I actually did win this lottery or whatever it is that you want, it's like all of a sudden it starts to manifest. It starts to show up in some way, shape, or form. It's the universe is that magical, and it is listening to us and through us all the time. It's just like, are we thinking about what we want or thinking about what we don't want? And that's kind of our investment into the universe is what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on what you like or don't like about this person or this experience? And that's what you will manifest more of, is whatever you focus on, it grows, right? So
let's unpack a couple of these. So there are 8 tips, and Jafree is sharing with us the 2 fundamentals, because with these 2, you can build everything. The first one is learn for yourself to say yes to life. Yes. And it's that shift from thinking, why is God doing this? Instead of saying to me, for me. Everything is done for you. Am I correct on that, Jafree?
Yes.
Right. So
Everything.
Saying yes to life. And the second thing is move, physically move, jump up and down, because that tells your being, your physical and your spiritual being, that you're alive. And if you're alive, you can manifest. And what you focus on must happen, must come to pass. I'm not saying will, I'm saying must, right?
Right.
It has to be. That's a law of the universe.
It has to. If there's no resistance, if there's no negativity or efforting for it to not happen, if you just allow, then it will show up. But if sometimes we don't believe we deserve it, or sometimes we don't think that we can, or it's not possible, and so this negative saboteur comes into our mind and it takes command. And so the book tells us there's a whole program. There's 3 steps to actually unlocking from your sabotaging mind and getting out of the negative into more of this positive mindset. And I tell people, if you can think 1,000 positive thoughts in a row, right, you are going to escalate your frequency 10 times more than you've ever could even imagine that was possible. So it's just like, how do you think one positive thought after the other, right? How do you stay in this positive frame of mind? And what I discovered, it's really about your level of surrender, okay? And trusting the universe is ultimately guiding us. We're being guided by something much bigger than our own ego. And it's like when we surrender to this positive, state of love, or, this flow of God force that's coming through everything, it's like it opens up that portal to this knowingness of what to do next, where to go next. It's like we just become part of the river of life, and we just flow with it instead of trying to battle upstream, or go to this side of the river and that side of the river, and we push and push and push the river. And it's such a struggle. Life is not meant to be a struggle. It's like we are in this river, this flow, and if we can relax and just say yes to each moment, it's like the moment unfolds this magic, this beauty, this amazingness, this God force is in each moment.
It's called life.
It's called life.
Life is a great acronym that stands for living inspirationally for eternity.
That's great.
That's who we are. We're immortal beings, right?
Right. We never die. We never die.
So
what are you going to do?
Well, and we don't. I will say to you that we have a time for our session together. You might like this also, Jafree. TIME is a great acronym that stands for thinking it's miraculous every day.
That's good.
That's what time is, right? Thinking it's miraculous every day. So we have come to a close for the moment of our time together. So I have 3 questions for you. 3 quick questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Number 1, will you come back again?
Sure. Absolutely.
Thank you. Number 2, Jafree Ozwald, you have only 80 seconds to answer this question. What is your most fervent desire?
Oh, I would say my biggest desire right now is to absolutely be at peace with my past, everything in my past, and everyone on the planet as they are, and to integrate this samadhi experience on the deepest level so that I am integrated all the karmic fluctuations, all the challenges, they've come to this deep sense of peace inside me, that there's absolute stillness in that space. Okay,
3rd, may I give you a hug in front of 403,219 people around the world?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, let me tell you what HUG stands for. HUG stands for heartfelt, unlimited giving. Are you ready? 1,
I'm ready.
2, 3.
Aw, that's so sweet.
And remember, you're listening to The Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore, and our dear beloved friend, Jafree Ozwald. Remember, this show, as great as he is, it's not about Jafree. And it's not about Barry Shore, wonderful fellow. It's all about you. YOU. You becoming the best you possible. Because when you're the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love. And you remember, you tuned in consciously and conscientiously. And I urge you to share this with 5 people so you can bring in more millions and millions of people to share this with, so we can shift the energy of the planet through these positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant conversations, and use the 3 fundamentals of life. Remember, the 3 fundamentals are going to enable you to be happier, healthier, and wealthier. And these 3 are, number 1, life. Your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, you go mad. MAD stands for make a difference. And the 3rd is to unlock the power and the sequence of everyday words and terms. Simple example, WWW. What a wonderful world. Smile. Smile stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Or as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Learn to create the kind of world you want to live in. What Jafree shared with us. You create your world. Say yes. Jump up and down. Manifest. Create stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. You want to shift your perspective. Keep that F in place and shift your perspective and internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever learn. They are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation will help determine the path in life and the trajectory. And learn to use 4-letter words. Now remember, the 4-letter words that we use, because we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, are love, life, hope, free, give, play, pray, swim, and tell people to F you, capital N, capital N. So after the show, you see your family and friends. I want you to point your finger, a smile on your lip, you smile on your lips and a twinkle in your eye. Remember what that stands for, and tell everybody that F you, capital N, capital N. I said, where'd you get that? He said, Barry Shore, he wants to teach the world to F you. And when you do that, it will give you an opportunity to get their attention. You can talk about all the things we discussed today about ego. I love this. Experience God's omnipresence. It's so wonderful. Thank you so much. Wonderful, Jafree. And again, we urge everybody, use the 2 most powerful words in English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. You'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. What are they? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. To harmonize and nurture kindness. To harmonize and nurture kindness. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Therefore, be kind always. Keep inspiring noble deeds. A blessing from Jafree and Barry. Go forth. Live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Jafree, don't go away.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.